It's like this. We live in claustrophobia, the land of steel and concrete, trapped by dark waters. There is no escape, nor do we want it. We've come to thrive on it and each other. You can't get the adrenaline pumping without the terror, good people. I love this town. This town loves prime meat. That last part was from a different movie, but no, I don't have that memorized. I took a screenshot of it from the worldwide internet, and I was just looking at it on a screen here. I thought that was a good way to start this particular Nate Watching. Welcome. This is Nate Watching Friday the 13th, Part 8. Jason Takes Manhattan. This wasn't initially something I thought I was going to do. I was going to initially just do 1 through 7, but it occurred to me, let's just do 8 because it's, as I said in some of the past ones, it's the last of the 80s. It kind of, even though I don't really include it as part of the franchise, it's nevertheless a part of the 80s original Paramount franchise. So we'll, just to be completist in that sense, we'll do it. So seeing as how we, just like with the watching of Part 7, have disabled the chat, I don't really, this is more of a for people to listen to after the fact. Obviously, I don't have to wait for anyone to show up. So we might as well just get it going. Incidentally, this is the first time I'm actually watching the Scream Factory Blu-ray, so I hope it works. I've never watched the Scream Factory Blu-ray of Part 8 yet because I don't really watch Part 8. So let's get it going, shall we? I think we shall. Testing. Okay, I just wanted to see if I could see the little green thing on the computer. I should be able to hear me. God, can you imagine doing one of these and have it be like just nothing but blank sound? That'd be kind of dangerous. All right, everyone. Oh, before I get started, I encourage anyone to, obviously with this, if this is the first one of these you're listening to on my channel, I encourage people who are listening to this to play the movie back on their end and just watch it, try to sync it with my audio. I tried to do that myself with Part 7, and I don't know, it's in theory that it should stay synced up if you get it synced, but it's possible that it goes out of sync over time, which would be a bummer if that's the fact. But little adjustments could be made to get back into sync. That's why I occasionally do dialogue or sound effects along to the movie to keep people in sync if they're watching the movie back with me with this audio. And in case this is the first one of these you're watching, and the reason you're seeing no image is because obvious copyright reasons. I'm not going to play the sound of the movie for obvious copyright reasons. So, as they say, with that said, let's start the movie. Jason Takes Manhattan. Chase. That's probably about the coolest thing about the movie, the little, chi ha 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 that happens with the digital Paramount logo. And now you've seen the best part of the movie, you can turn it off. Right off the bat here, as we fade in on Manhattan at dusk or dawn, and Paramount Pictures presents a horror incorporated production. Right off the bat here, we get the strong sense of it being already different from the first 7 films because there's no pre-title sequence. It just, this is one of the many reasons why I don't really include this with the franchise. For me, the franchise ends with Part 7, but we're just doing this once again because it is technically a part of the 80s Paramount franchise of the original Paramount era. So once again, that's why we're doing this. But that actually did start with a couple of Manhattan shots, and then from what I understand, all these other shots are just in Canada somewhere. But to me, I'm not a big grimy city enthusiast. So any grimy city will pass for any other grimy city. Obviously, when I first saw this, and until I found out that the majority of the city stuff was in Canada, there's no way I would ever know that, or a lot of other people wouldn't either. So we're watching Friday 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, and there's this kind of cool, and I'll admit the song that plays here is kind of cool. There is a rat coming out of toxic sludge. Poor little guy. Incidentally, I've had some rats as pets, and they are not gross and nearly as gross and slimy as people would think they are. And we're basically what we're doing here with this opening credit scene is just visiting locations that the end of the movie will end up shooting at. I think pretty much everything you see is, locations that will end up, Jason will end up going, and the main characters and Jason will end up going through at the very end of the movie. It'll be interesting to see, this is the first one of these fan commentaries I'm doing for a movie that I don't really even like. So it'll be interesting to see how this works out. With this movie being, shot in Canada, I should say, how will it be interesting to see how this works out. So I've mentioned this in my review of this film. Wait, did I read? Yeah, crap. I don't remember if I reviewed this as a part of the Friday 13th reviews that I did 3 years ago or 2018 or whenever the hell it was. I think I may have reviewed this. But anyway, I said in the last couple. Actually, before I get into that, this is the beginning of this movie that actually has promise, because look at that. It's like at a lake. It looks like kind of a camp situation, although this is the first time in the franchise we've seen a houseboat on Crystal Lake. So what I was actually going to say is, holy shit, I just lost my train of thought. Oh, I think what I was going to say is that, like I said, I think in the Part 6 and 7 commentaries I did, this is the first one. Unfortunately, we didn't see 7 in the theater. We almost did, but this is the first Friday 13th my dad and I actually saw in the theater, and it's my least favorite of the 80s Friday the 13th. So it's a bummer that this is the one I saw in the theater, but at least, I guess, I don't know. I want to say at least we saw this in the theater, but I don't know. It's really not even, yeah. So anyway, we saw this in the theater, and so instead of having the glorious memory of seeing Part 7 in the theater, I have the not so glorious memory of seeing this in the theater. Although, as a 12-year-old, when you're a kid, you think differently than you do when you go on to be an adult. When I was 12, I had this stupid idea that just because this is the most recent movie at the time, I hesitate to even say this, but when I was 12 and after we saw this, I'm like, oh, Part 8 is the best, and then 7 is the best, and 6 is the best. So as a 12-year-old, my theory was the more new it is, the better it is, which obviously isn't true. New doesn't make it the best. Obviously, my thoughts have changed since then. This now being my least favorite of the 80s Friday films. Now, this is really funny because this character now is going to say, it's just that we're right near that summer camp where all those murders took place. And it's just like, okay, this begins the theory of this movie, which is absolutely horseshit, which is they're on a houseboat and they're traveling on this houseboat, and they're currently floating by Crystal Lake, or presumably on Crystal. I mean, I don't know what we're trying to say here. Like Crystal Lake is on actually Crystal River, and there's a horrible shot of supposed to be Jason drowning there, and it always looked off to me. But I think what I realized with the commentary is that those trees in the background there, it's like actually filmed in like an indoor pool or something, and the trees in the background are actually just a two-dimensional big huge photo of trees. It's just so tacky and just so horrible that they couldn't even film that in an actual lake, just some tank with a picture backdrop of trees. I always knew something was off with those shots of, that Jason drowning, and then later the scene with Rennie and the uncle. And it's just like, yeah, that's what it is. On Blu-ray, you can really tell a lot more that it's just a backdrop. It's just like, oh my god. So here we have at least continuity, between 7 and 8, where Rob Hedden is at least doing a continuity with the end of 7, having been, pulled down by Tina's zombie dad, undead dad, and although it actually doesn't make any sense really that there's a dock covering him, because the dock, at least what we saw at the end of 7, didn't exactly fall in on top of him. But whatever, it's Rob Hayden's, however the hell you say his last name's, quote unquote, creative license he's taking. One thing I will say about this opening scene is this girl is relatively cute, and I think I said it in my review of the film years ago that it would have been nice if she would have been one of the characters that, is one of the more prominent characters throughout the movie, instead of just being in this opening scene. But can't have everything we want. Squish, as Jason grabs Squish as he climbs onto the boat. He grabs the railing of the boat. And I don't think you can actually see like Kane Hodder's fleshy finger poking through the glove there. I don't think you're supposed to be able to see that. This is, of course, the Jason that is the squishy, the squishy, always wet Jason who never dries. I guess he's been underwater for so long that even when he's out of the water, he never dries. He's just squishy, slimy the whole movie. One, after watching 7 in his hockey mask splitting in two and, becoming pretty much useless, one might wonder where he gets a hockey mask from in 8. Well, here we go. What? Pulls knife out. She's not dead. Click, 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 click. I don't know how he got all his hair under that, behind that, in those straps, but whatever. Got you good, Susie. That wasn't to sync I said it late. That wasn't to sync up your movie if you're watching it with. Here he grabs a hockey mask. One thing I will say about this movie that I think I even say in my reviews of it is, it actually, one thing positive that I can see about it is it looks great, and especially on Blu-ray. And as I said in my watching of Part 7, the late 80s, early 90s film stock really agrees with me. And one thing I will say about this movie is it just looks really good. Colors, just the film quality, I've always loved how it looked. Here is the full reveal of the slimy Jason Takes Manhattan, Jason who was always slimy, and indeed Kane Hodder's second portrayal of the character. And I think in the franchise, is that Kane's real finger there? I think in the franchise, it's the first time that someone ever played Jason more than once, if memory serves. Okay, I'm going to try to sync this up. He's holding the harpoon. The guy goes, and then shoot, clink. It hits the wall right next to her, which apparently was very dangerous to do for real. And the first kill in the movie is absolutely horrible. When I was a kid, I always thought he had intestines there on the end of that, but it's just the rubber of the harpoon just red. So when I was a kid, it was actually cooler because I thought it was something that it wasn't. It's funny when you watch movies as a kid, a lot of times you interject things, you hear things differently, and you see things differently. He's going to pull the spear out of the wall right there. So the first kill of Part 8 is really pathetic, where he basically just jams the end of a spear gun in the guy's stomach. Now, what's funny about seeing this in the theater with my dad is, this is like 2 years after RoboCop, which is something I also saw in the theater. I was only 10 when I saw RoboCop in the theater, and the violence was too much for me at the time. But I remember me and my dad were like, as Jason walks in this movie, especially on the boat in the first scene here, it's very much like, I think it's pretty much the whole movie, but like RoboCop steps. Each step is pronounced, which I don't have a problem with. It's kind of cool, but it maybe is a little overdone at the same time. You could go either way. Now, this is ridiculous. The second kill in this movie is ridiculous. And there's a part in this scene here where she's saying, no, no, please, no. And she goes, no, no, almost like it's laughing. And look at how lame this special effects chest is here. That's going to be just bouncing. There it is. Like a half a second or a quarter second of just that fake chest bouncing and the spear entering it. And what's so funny is even the actress in interviews later on said, my tits are bigger, even the fake chest. I've actually got tits, and it's not even realistic because it doesn't even match my chest. And I'm like, yeah, it's true. So what's funny about that, after Jason kills that girl, Kane Hodder does this physicality, which is like, I feel better now. And my dad caught on to that. He's like, now I'm relieved, and he just has this like, there, better, all better, before he he does that kind of a physicality before he slams the door shut on her. Now we introduce, that's like I said in my watching audio of part 7, we introduced the female character. Like part 8 kind of follows some of the tropes that part 7 did, with the female main character and then the evil older male character that torments her. And it makes you wonder. I mean, I can only assume Rob Hayden saw 7, and I don't know if he intentionally copied that. I don't know if Paramount wanted him to do the lead girl and then the evil stepfather, uncle in this case, whatever. And here you go. You've got, for the first time since I don't know, part 3, I guess, you've got a Crazy Ralph kind of a character where this guy's paying homage to Walt Gorney in the first couple films and I guess the guy in part 3 to a certain extent. We'll see him more later. Here we have, of course, the character of whatever. His last name's McCulloch. He's like he's a teacher at their high school, I guess, that Rennie and all these other kids are going to. But I always thought this character, Rennie's friend teacher, this lady, was just so boring, like as a character and as an actress, like really not interesting at all. She really comes across as someone who'd go to church every Sunday. Now, Jensen Daggett, I want to say, as Rennie here, she's cute, but her character in this movie is completely uninteresting to me. Unlike Tina, where I've actually, as a viewer, have some sympathy. Look at how beautiful the mountains in the background are there. I actually have some sympathy for Tina in 7. I don't, Rennie is basically just annoying to me. So we're about 18 minutes. We're 18 minutes into 14 minutes into the movie, and this is how the commentary is going for this movie. It's like, I hate this, I hate that, I hate this. Oh, cool! Look at how beautiful the mountains are. Have you decided on our course of departure, Captain? I thought I'd leave that up to my son. There's I forgot his name. Mr. Puppet Master formed Gordon Curry. Sean Robertson. Gordon, the Gordon lineless Curry. I think he's got dialogue in like the deleted scenes, but I think in the final cut of Jason Takes Manhattan, his dialogue is reduced to shh, shh, shh. I think he shushes someone as someone's talking, and there's like something's being said over the loudspeaker. I think in the finished film, Gordon Curry may have no lines. And I actually like Gordon Curry in Puppet Master 4 and 5. It's funny to see him here in a Friday the 13th film with his late 80s hair. I don't know why Gordon Curry couldn't have been the main star instead of this guy. From what I understand, they started very much with like Back to the Future. They started filming with some other guy as this main guy and had to replace him. Set off the International Maritime Signal, followed by a security broadcast warning other ships that we are underway. Dad wants son to be a captain of a ship just like he is, and he can't get the door open. Clunk. Gordon Curry is left holding the box, as it were. And here we go. Look at how yellow that. It depends on which version you're watching, if you're watching it with me, but Look at how yellow that hockey mask is. Now we've got Ralph Jr.'s, this voyage is doomed. Yeah, tell me about it. You got his first little crazy Ralph Jr. bit. I don't think I mentioned yet. God, this movie's going by fast. Time flies when you're blabbing, but I don't think I mentioned yet. I started to, but I didn't really talk too much about the absurdity of the fact that Crystal Lake is connected, via water, is connected to the ocean, which you can get to Manhattan Island. It's all that water is connected. Crystal Lake, you can just take a boat from Crystal Lake to Manhattan Island without, portaging over land. So the houseboat that we presume was floating on Crystal Lake, maybe in this movie it's Crystal River. It could be Camp Crystal River. But the houseboat somehow makes its way from Crystal Lake to the ship, and the ship makes its way to, well, actually, the ship doesn't make its way to Manhattan Island, pretty much, and then they take the rowboat to Manhattan Island. Here we've got Rennie meeting up with Captain Sean Robertson, the reluctant Captain Sean Robertson. These two characters have never and will never interest me. What's going on here? It just, I actually kind of care about the relation, what's going on between Tina and Nick and Seven, but these two, I mean, I could care less. Now, Mr. Loverboy here gifted her a little statue, a golden Statue of Liberty necklace here, as we see, or don't see if you're not watching this with me. And once again, I mean, the scenery here with the water and the greenery on the distant land is pretty. And, Jensen Daggett is, she's not unattractive. I mean, she's cute with her big 80s hair. But that's pretty much, in my opinion, all there is to this character. Now, see, there's some other movie that has a female character like this who just has this troubled past and is all whiny, and it's just so annoying. I can't remember what it is, or maybe it's this one. But you just get sick of her, whininess, and we throughout the, we introduce right away that she's got some troubled past, but we don't really find out what it is until the movie's almost over, and she spends the whole that looks like that woman that married that one guy from Scream right there. That looks like Courtney. Is it Courtney Cox? Doesn't that look like Courtney Cox? More so in the black and white footage. Too cool, JJ. Your parents really came through. That's like your Crispin Glover wannabe guy. For the record, I actually like this performer. I mean, I don't know if I've seen him in any other movie, but I like him in this movie. Wayne is one of my favorite characters, not only because he's kind of the character like I was as a teenager, carrying around a full VHS video camera everywhere he goes and wanted to be a, filmmaker, but I think he's just one of the more interesting characters because he's not threatening. He just seems like a nice guy, and he's got a lust, he's got a thing for Tamra. And he's just a Crispin Glover Jr. I like Wayne. He might be one of my favorite characters in Jason Takes Manhattan. We've got Miss Guitar here, big hair. And then wet, slimy Jason Legs. There's a big storm predicted for tonight. That'll sync you up if you're watching. It's not too late to put you back on shore. If Miss Van Dusen knew about you, blah, 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 she didn't push me into this. I'm going to grab your face. Why are you doing this to yourself? Yeah, there's some other movie where you've got a whiny female character. I don't know what the hell movie it is. I'll never think of it, I'm sure, during this recording. Look at those lines on his forehead. But this is Rennie's uncle. He's trying to convince her to to not go. It's too dangerous. There's a big storm predicted. I don't know why he doesn't want her to go, actually, in retrospect. Wayne, you're an asshole. I said that earlier. That wasn't to sync you up. She presses play and starts jamming. Dun, dun, dun. Down, 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 okay, here we go. I remember reading. I don't know where the hell I read it, but obviously, I think Kane. There was a little bit of, you know, and rightfully so. I think Kane Hodder had some issues with some of the direction from the director in this movie, and you can understand why. I mean, it's almost like seeing him just slowly walk down these stairs here. It's almost like, the director is like, the more boring and slow, the better. And here's one of these. She's scared up top, goes downstairs the ladder, and then guitar in the face. But apparently, the writer director guy Rob was a guitar enthusiast, and I guess that he had a guitar like that, or some crap. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, I think that there was some strife between Kane and the director because of the apparently boring way that this is the RoboCop steps here too. Doosh, doosh, doosh. And just look at how slow Jason's walking right now. If you're not watching, it's slow and boring. It's almost like the director wanted him to be as slow and boring as possible for some fucking reason. So if there was indeed strife between the director and Kane Hodder, I can see why, and it's totally understandable because he was just in the Kick-Ass Part 7, and now like a year later he's in 8. He's lucky enough to come back as Jason, the first for the franchise, and this guy wants me to be. What he's asking of me is just so boring that I almost regret taking the role. I'm putting words into his Kane Hodder's mind or mouth, but now here is the first in the series of absolutely stupid. She's looking at Rennie's looking at the window out of her cabin. She hears, echoes and boy voice or whatever, and then now we see blah blah blah, which is actually the writer director's son. We come to find out in the commentary or making of or whatever. Help me, blah 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 blah, and the light goes out and dog runs out the door. I mean, that's just pathetic. That's supposed to be like young Jason, even though his eyes are completely normal. Like, I don't think Rob even saw the first movie or knew that Jason was like a mongoloid face, and so the continuity is just completely effed up. And why would she be seeing visions of young Jason drowning? It's just, oh my God. So, we're about, what are we, almost half hour into the commentary, and as expected, I'm just basically bitching about the movie. Here we're introducing Julius, who's just Mr. Studley, Mr. Fast, unstoppable boxer guy. Couple it, boof, boof. Looks up, sees some chicks, distracted, and down for the count, Mr. Green Guy, green shorts. Julius in a red tank top, which does look good on Blu-ray, like the tank top is really red. Tamara's half of her red tank top is red as well. Looks really red on Blu-ray. Now we're introducing Julius, Tamara, and I can't remember the Asian girl's name, but Asian girl for a while here, not long, is the hanger-oner of Tamara, the prom queen herself. At least this is kind of realistic portrayal of adolescence, like particularly among girls. It's not just exclusive to girls where you have, girls idolizing other girls if they're quote unquote popular and maybe mirroring themselves after the popular. This is the fun scene between McCulloch and Wayne. Well, maybe some of us don't want our futures predicted. Well, in your case, I'm sure that's true. And I just love how, I don't really love what Rob did with this movie, more or less, but just having that little interaction take place in that one shot, I agree with. That was just fun. You don't need to cover that and over the shoulders and all this and that. And it's, even though it's 89, it's still the 80s. So here we have Tamara trying to peer pressure her into snorting some cocaine. You're talking to the prom queen, Eva. Eva, okay. You think I'm risking caught? The Asian girl is Eva. So there's a little bit of peer pressure, on-screen peer pressure, as Rennie scares them. Have you seen my dog? I think he came this way. No, we haven't. Care for a hit? No, thank you, as Rennie goes away with her big 80s hair. Look at the Asian girl's like, oh God. Even the Asian girl has big straight 80s hair. And in a steady cam shot, we've got Rennie looking for Toby, is the dog's name. Jason lurking on the ship. Poor Kane having to do a boring maneuver as the door shuts itself with the dartboard on it. Now, I remember in Fangoria, before the movie came out, seeing a shot of a character with darts in his eyes. And I think that's in deleted scenes that you can see probably on the Blu-ray or special edition DVD or maybe on YouTube. I remember, kind of wondering after the fact, where was that scene in the movie? It's so funny that even 8 films into the franchise, they're still doing these extremely gory things that somehow they think they're going to get away with, but end up getting cut. It's just like, you'd think by the 8th movie, it's just like you wouldn't even bother doing extremely gory stuff anymore. So McCulloch finds the girls using drugs. They're out of town. I just did a line for what's her name there. What's her name? Shit, I forgot the blonde girl's name right now. Tamara. So now Eva thinks they're in trouble. Tamara's gonna basically, she thinks that Tamara, Miss Bitch here, thinks that Rennie narked, which means told on them, when of course she didn't do that. McCulloch just, well, I guess we don't know that she didn't do that, but it's not indicated that she narks on them. McCulloch, I think, just came by on his own. But now Tamara's got a little bit of revenge that she wants to get on, what's her name, Rennie. So that's a little plot point, a seed planted right there, as now we see the loser to Julius in the sauna, having lost the all-important boxing match, is chilling out. Look at how skinny he looks in that wide-angle lens. My dad was like, God, he looks like a skeleton. But the wide-angle lens on the ceiling there makes him look skinnier than he is. I guess he's kind of skinny even in the non-wide-angle lens. But I will admit that, it doesn't, this movie is already kind of stupid. It doesn't help that the kills are kind of dumb, and I don't know. I guess they're different, as Jason grabs a hot sauna rock and is about to jam it into his chest. Julius? Rock comes up and goes into his stomach. It's more like, I don't know. It's supposed to be in his chest, I think, because when he walks out, it's like higher. It's in it. Let's see where it is when he walks out. Yeah, chest. So not only do I think the movie's just kind of dumb in general, but also that, it doesn't help that, in my opinion, the kills are mostly just all stupid too. Almost, killing. I mean, I don't know. Maybe in theory, killing with a hot sauna rock is a cool idea. I just, maybe it doesn't belong in Friday 13th movie. Maybe something else would be cool, but maybe not Friday 13th. And obviously, this movie in the 80s before it came out was obviously promoted as a Jason Takes Manhattan, and I remember even after I saw it in the theater with my dad, right, we were kind of like, it's not really Jason Takes Manhattan as much as it is Jason Takes a Boat to Manhattan. And I remember being disappointed. Oh my God. So I'm watching the bit where she got kicked over the boat by Tamra. And while she's trying to swim, she gets pulled down by Jason, which makes so much sense, right? Shit. I don't remember what I was saying. Loverboy jumps over, saves her. The thing that's not realistic about that her going over the side thing is it's like the boat is just like standing still. In reality, if the boat in theory is on its way to Manhattan, and she would have, probably traveling at a decent speed. And the way it is in the movie is it's like she's pushed over when the boat's just standing still because, anyway, you get what I'm saying. Just one of the many non-realistic aspects of the movie. This is where we realize that part of her troubled past problem is she can't swim. I guess if you really want to look at it in this way, I mean, I guess there's kind of a similarity between the character of young Jason and Rennie in that aspect where, Jason couldn't swim either, and I don't know if that's the writer director's attempt at. I don't know. I'm probably reading too much into it. Here we've got overprotective and ultimately, I don't know, abusive Uncle McCulloch taking her, Rennie. There's Crazy Ralph Jr. We're all gonna die. I said that later. That wasn't to sync anything up, but after being bullied overboard, knocked overboard, she goes into the bathroom for yet another stupid, pathetic vision of seeing. First of all, this we've seen in movies 1,000 times where water turns red for no reason. She screams. The mirror, a hand comes out of the mirror. It's okay. So in this bit, it's they actually put makeup on him, so he is mongoloid in this shot. So I don't understand. There's no continuity between that scene and the earlier with the window of the boat. His eyes were perfectly normal from what it looked like, and at least they do mongoloid in this vision. I don't know if the writer director of this movie thinks his eye got screwed up after he drowned. Maybe that's what the director of this movie thinks. Okay, here we go. It's just easier to say the director than I guess I can say Rob. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but here we've got the quote unquote sexy scene of this movie, which is a far cry from the sexy stuff in part 5, or even 7 for that matter. I guess it's I guess it's sexier than the sexy stuff in Jason Lives, the 6th film. The guy who plays McCulloch here probably didn't mind doing this scene though, but I never really even, I don't know, found her to be crazy attractive in this movie. Like maybe just the drawing on herself as we pan up. Maybe the drawings on herself kind of like stomach there, the arrow pointing down, heart. Yeah, that expression on her face is just like whatever. Yeah, I bet that guy didn't mind that. I wonder if that actor was married. Oh God, I feel so bad for if their wives see their movies, or the guy in Reanimator. His wife saw, his head between Barbara Crampton's legs, and he got a lot of flack for that. So basically, Tamara is using Wayne here to video record this incident so she could basically blackmail him to give her a passing grade. And it's funny how she's so worried about covering up when this guy comes in. Like, attending any film school. Ever! Yeah, this Wayne, I wish Wayne had been the main character. I really do like Wayne in retrospect watching this with no sound. Now, this is where Wayne spills the beans to Tamara here, and he's got a lot of courage, this character Wayne, right now. He's gonna spill the beans and let her know how much he's got a thing for her, even though she's a complete and total bitch. And Rob definitely gets, as the writer and director of this movie, definitely gets this characterization of this Tamara character down pat, because this is how bitches are. They just yeah. Wayne, you're an asshole. Oh man, imagine a NECA action figure of Wayne. So this is the late '80s. So what they were doing, if you didn't notice Wayne's the bottom of his pants is back then. Your kids were rolling, so if they had jeans, they were taking the bottoms of it and they were like, I don't even know if I can describe it on audio, but they were like rolling the bottoms of their pants. So making, yeah, we'll just say that. If the pant leg on the bottom was wider, they would alter it so it wasn't so wide, and they'd either roll it or some kids in grade school at the time, and were like pinning and rolling the bottoms of their pants, kind of a fashion thing. Oh, poor Kane. Every time I see him as Jason in this movie just being so slow and boring, I kind of feel for him. Like, he must have been so disappointed after shooting this movie, because I mean, I guess it's not too much of a difference compared to what he did in the seventh movie, but I don't know, it just seems so much more boring for some reason. Oof. She just hit her head on the mirror. I'll sync you up with the mirror break here. Okay, so smash. He punches the mirror. Tamara's got some blood on her head. Oh no. Covering herself up. He grabs the piece of mirror. I mean, I guess one thing you got to give it to Rob with the kills. I mean, I guess his attempt to doing something different, you got to kind of respect with all these kills and just these random things he grabs to kill with. But at the same time, it's like, God, I'm going to kill you with the shard of broken glass. It would really be a challenge if NECA, if they ever frickin' put out the part 7 one, if they actually did a part 8 one, what the hell they'd include with for accessories. What would you get? A shard of mirror or frickin' rock as his weapon accessories, harpoon gun with, I guess. I swear, probably that knife that he ends up slitting the captain's throat with, maybe this harpoony thing that he's taking off the wall right now. Now the captain is giving this guy some parental advice. And I love how this guy's reaction is like, yeah, don't push him too hard. He's like, yeah, no shit, Captain. You don't have to tell me that. Captain goes downstairs, leaves this guy to the helm. Now, creatively, I will say this is kind of cool how the victim has the windshield wiper to have his face clear, and then the window that you see Jason in has no windshield wiper, so he's kind of not very visually descript. That's kind of cool. Those are all the jabs that Jason did at the guy with the spear. Captain comes out, sees him laying on the ground with a spear sticking out of him. Now, this is one of the cooler kills. It's actually kind of violent, where it's like knife goes without a cut. It's just like, it seems almost like a snuff movie, this kill. Like he really slit his throat for real. and the slit throat looks good. And of course, the MPA, fucked that up. They had to cut to the lightning through the windshield. But that was probably the coolest kill so far, and maybe the coolest kill in the movie. Is it's like you see the slice happen without a an editorial movie cut in the movie, and it's like you almost see the cut being made on camera, and then he tilts his head back and it opens up. So that's probably like the best so far. I don't remember all the kills in the movie, but so far it's definitely the best kill. It might be the best one in the whole movie. We'll see. And it's kind of dumb how like Jason sets the captain up so he's standing up on the helm now and bleeding onto the little whatever the hell it is. I'm not a ship enthusiast, but oh no, falls to the ground. So basically now this is basically halfway into the movie now, and there's Gordon Curry in his only scene here. Now here comes, and he goes, shh. That's his only dialogue in the movie, I think. Now Julius is in his whatever outfit that he's going to wear the rest of the movie. If there was a Julius figure, he'd be in this outfit. Collar zipped all the way up. So halfway in the movie, the main characters are now discovering bodies. Oh no, okay, Gordon Curry comes in and actually has a line right there. I don't remember what it was, but he actually that's his only line, I think, in the movie. He gets to have a line. I think he's got more lines in deleted scenes, but he does actually have a line. Now Jason's pretty smart as he yanks the wires off of the antenna there. And one thing I will say in this main control, the bridge or whatever the hell this is in the movie, that kind of green and like red light there in the background, it's right there. Always reminds me of like a kitchen though, like you should have French fries or hamburger underneath there keeping it warm. But the green and the red there, I think is kind of cool. Thank you very much. Someone gave this this stream a thumbs up. I appreciate that. Crazy Ralph Jr. once again letting everyone know that Jason's aboard. I don't know if he actually saw. We can only assume he saw Jason actually come on board. Otherwise, why would he be spouting this crap? But I don't think we ever see Jason come on board. You're the one who's insane. I said that late, but for a second there, I saw 3 people in the stream. But I do appreciate the hitchhiker. Thank you very much. Walking corpses are not real. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, these bodies are sure real. All right, Julius is getting everyone. That guy on the right there almost looks like to the right of Julius almost looks like Michael from Friday 7. School is out, McCulloch. Okay. Get back here. I wish Gordon Curry could have had more success in life. I mean, maybe he has more success or had more success than I think he had, but I think he kind of had some, even in this movie where he's like not even really saying anything. He's got some on-screen, I think he's got on-screen charisma, and I really like Gordon Curry in Puppet Master 4 and 5. So now Captain Sean Robertson has now told Rennie to drop the anchor, which is kind of stupid. Like, why not do it yourself? Like, why send this girl who doesn't know anything about anything to go do it? But I guess so you can have this quote unquote suspenseful moment. We got a steady cam here with just a boring, slow shot. We get a glimpse of an axe there. That'll come in handy. Makes you wonder if they did a NECA Part 8 Jason, if they'd include that axe or not. Jason never uses it, well, not on screen. It's used on Crazy Ralph Jr., but not on camera. You had me worried to death. But Sean said we had to drop the anchor. I'm the one you should be listening to. You think dropping an anchor in the middle of a storm makes any sense whatsoever? That was to sync you guys up if you're interested in that. Now, the slime dripping from this. Here's Eva coming to get Tamara. I will say it's amazing how this slime almost drops on cue here as camera tracks to the side and she approaches. That slime drops perfectly at the right moment. Eva sees Tamara, and in a kind of I do appreciate Rob's little thing there with Tamara, like seeing herself reflected in the mirror because she's a cocaine user and uses mirrors to do that. Oh, okay, this kill. This is one of the best kills in the. This is a good kill too. So, two good kills kind of happen back to back. Now, this scene, she enters a little dance room here with a Steadicam shot. I will say I like what Rob does here with the Steadicam, following her down, walking in and twisting all around and doing whatever. And also, as much as I don't like this movie, you can't deny that this shot of Jason coming in the door isn't really cool, and also the sound design just made that moment seem huge. You know, that is cool. This is the scene here where Jason teleports. So okay, so he's there. Then she's going to go over here, but she can't go there because he's there too. And then he turns his head almost as if she's okay. There he is. Okay, you get the point. So I think Jason's gonna come just out of nowhere, grab her throat, bitch, squeezing her poor little throat there. So this is one of the better kills in the movie, where the shot of him throwing the stunt girl down is so brutal. It's just amazing to think that, okay, he's gonna do it. She's life is ebbing from her body right here, and it's just such a cool shot when he throws her. That is pretty cool. I will say that. So I think that kill scene was, with the exception of him teleporting all the hell over the place, I think that nothing. But this gun. With the exception of the teleporting around, I think that scene was kind of cool. So two of the best kills in the movie, in my opinion, happen back to back. Here is Wayne, the asshole, in the down where JJ was jamming. He's looking for JJ. He hasn't seen her since that moment. It's so funny when they put all the weapons on the ground and they just said, okay, everyone pick what you want. And, you know, someone grabbed, like, I don't remember, you know, I'd have to slow-mo it, but it's just like, it's funny how everyone wouldn't grab for the rifle. Like some grab, you know, someone would rather have a hammer than the rifle, you know? Actually, yeah, because everyone picked everything but the rifle, so Julius could grab the rifle after everyone else picked their things. You're telling me that no one wanted the fucking best weapon on the... That's just so funny. So Wayne just lost his glasses, so we got Wayne blurry vision here. Some guy, bam! Some guy comes into his blurry vision and he just shoots him. Wait, how does Wayne have a gun too? So there must have been more than one gun. And I don't... Can you do this? I don't use glasses or contacts or anything, so I can't try this myself. But can you use a camcorder to, if you lost your glasses, to focus? I don't know if this is possible. I wouldn't think it would work. But this character right here lost his glasses, so he's actually using the full size VHS camcorder to see through and focus to see that he killed some innocent guy as Jason's sloppy feet stand into the shot. And this is kind of funny. I don't want to be on camera, clunk. Jason knocks the camera out of his. Now Wayne's gonna go down the stairs and he's gonna discover none other than bloody guitar is revealed. That looks like it went very deep into JJ's head, as will be revealed here with the hole in her head. At least some of the gore made it in to the final cut. I'll admit she does a convincing dead face there. Jason grabs Wayne, throws him on the control panel, which if you touch it, you'll spontaneously combust. Makes you not want to touch a control panel in a ship, I'll tell you that, or whatever it was. I guess I don't know what it was, but once again, we're back to the kitchen where it seems like there should be a plate of fries or hamburger under that orange light there to being kept warm. He's a son of a captain, for God's sake. Now, I will say that shot of Wayne there, body on fire, obviously that's probably just a fake dummy, but it's kind of, in a strange way, that's kind of tragic seeing that corpse just burn there like that. And the nonchalant way the camera's just tracking alongside, like it doesn't even give a shit about that wasted youth, that life wasted. Now, Jason used a power tool in part 7 and uses a fire alarm in part 8. So just when Sean Robertson gets him back on course and everything's a relief, bam! Jason punches the fire alarm, and what's that? Fire alarm! We see different spots of the ship where the fire alarm is ringing, and as he squats, I always thought it was funny how he squatted down to reach the flare gun there. I'm going to find that deckhand. How do we really know there is one? What are you talking about? Use some common sense. So McCulloch thinks the deckhand is responsible for the fire or the fire alarm, because he doesn't even believe there's a fire. So here's Gordon Curry in his rolled pants. If you look at his bottom of his pants there, you'll see they're rolled to make them narrower at the bottom. That's what the trend was in the late 80s, early 90s. Swipe! Oh, yeah, never try to use an axe on Jason, because the axe is the weapon that Jason uses on you, but Gordon did his best, and then he just ran like hell. So Jason in this movie doesn't even have to walk over, after running people. He just teleports. So Jason's down on the bottom there looking up. We see Gordon running up there. Cut to a closer shot, and Jason's just there. Grabs him, throws him off, stunt. Goosh! And close up, we don't know what the hell happened to Gordon. Curry's character, we'll find out in a moment here as Julius. He's got his shotgun, looks around that big whatever it is, and now he's out in the rain, and he's gonna look where he just was. And now we reveal, this is kind of cool. That's actually kind of a cool kill too. So maybe there were like 3 of them in a row. And that guy who grabbed Julius from the back there, it doesn't look like Kane Hodder. That's probably Kane Hodder looking over the side of the boat. But I'd willing to bet absolutely nothing that guy who grabbed Julius and we saw the back of Jason was Ken Kuranes, or I can't. What is it with these last names? The guy who would go on to play Jason in Freddy versus Jason, but he played Jason in a couple shots in this movie, and I'm willing to bet that was one of them. There we got slimy young Jason as Jason headbutts the window, throws his arm through and grabs Rennie by the neck. In this shot, you can really see that fake glass or whatever the hell it is actually. She's pulling her face dangerously close to that actual shard of glass, which looks like it could do some damage if it got too close. Now she's going to take Stephen King's pen that he used back in the 1800s when he was a writer in school, and jam it into his eye, and then slimy young Jason goes away, and old Jason grabs it and yanks it out, and a slime tear comes out of his hockey mask. I didn't really comment on the hockey mask. I've been so busy bitching about this movie. So let me take a little moment to comment on the hockey mask. So it's kind of a bummer. Well, I guess it makes sense because it's a different hockey mask that it's not going to have the bit out of the left side of his lower face like the Part 7 one does, but that wouldn't make sense if it did, I guess. But what's so funny about it is it does have a little bit remnant of the axe mark, which is kind of funny. I guess they figured to not have the axe mark would just be irresponsible at this point. So there is a little remnants, as you can see, of the final chapter, or part 3 / final chapter axe mark. But no, it's a completely different hockey match. So why would there be an axe mark? That's kind of funny. But as much as I don't really like this movie or this Jason, I part of me does kind of like the yellow hockey mask. And the interesting way that the straps attached to the mask with, I don't know what you'd call it, but these little metal things that screw onto the mask where the strap kind of goes through it. It looks kind of rugged, So the yellow hockey mask is kind of cool. Norman Bates is on the ship now. We've got a big long knife. And, McCulloch already thinks the deckhand is the problem. This doesn't help to change his mind, as the deckhand basically attacks him with a knife. But obviously, he doesn't harm him with the knife. So we've got water. I can't remember why the hell water is pouring into the ship. Actually, yeah. Why? Where does this water that's flooding the ship come from? So just because there's a fire on the ship, water comes in? Is it coming in from beneath the ship? But how come if it's coming in from, I don't know. If it's coming in from beneath, why is it pouring down the stairs? So there's the engine room, blinking red light. Door opens by itself to flood these characters. Yeah, this is one of the many aspects of this movie that makes absolutely no sense. Like, so why is there all kinds of water in the ship? I guess we're supposed to assume that the fire burned a hole in the bottom of the ship and water is coming in. I don't know. It's a horror movie, the 8th part of a horror movie franchise. At this point, who the hell cares, is probably what Rob was thinking when he was writing it. Once again, the Mr. Loverboy, actually the real savior, McCulloch, comes in the door. I care about her more than anyone else. That's not what he's saying, but it's time you listen to me if you want off the ship alive. Dolph Lundgren impersonation there. He kind of reminds me of Dolph Lundgren. Here's boring church-going lady with their anchor sweater. There is no more restaurant. So, okay, so here we go. Deckhand is the threat. He's acting kind of peculiar. McCulloch is going to shoot the flare gun at him. It doesn't even work. Deckhand falls over, and we see axe in the back, and you can clearly see the apparatus underneath the sweater, which makes this special effect work. But clearly, Jason does use the axe. So if NECA provided a figure for this movie, maybe we'd get that fire axe. Maybe not. We don't know. Incidentally, I think you can see the thing that makes the rain at the top of that thing that got hit by lightning before it got hit by lightning. Can you see it? Yeah, you can see it right there in the shot of Jason. You can see where the rain's actually coming from. Like on the really high point of the ship, they put this sprinkler basically that's spinning around. So in the shot, you can see the sprinkler where the rain's coming out of. I think you could see that, I don't know, earlier after Jason threw Julius over the side. So Jason took the houseboat to this boat, and now these people are abandoning this boat for a rowboat. It looks like they're getting really far. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I suppose it's possible to survive out in the ocean in a boat like that during a storm, but doubtful. But again, this is not your most realistic movie ever made. Julius is one tough cookie. He'd be frozen solid, but he comes out onto the boat. And do they don't even show how does the dog get in the boat? I don't even remember that. So they row away from the boat. Next morning, we dissolve to next morning in some fog, and they've just been rowing for a while, gently to Manhattan. Boy, this isn't how this trip was supposed to be. So basically, we're an hour into the movie at this point, and Jason takes Manhattan. There's still no Manhattan. So less than a third of this movie actually takes place in the city. I mean, you might as well just round it up to a third, but it's technically less than a third because we're an hour and 2 minutes into the movie at this point. And I will say those orange life vests really pop on the Blu-ray. Toby there with his little bandana. Sean trying to find where they are with his little computer thing. Julius giving him moral support. That look there, if you're watching along with me from McCulloch, was actually one of the only non-asshole looks he ever gives in the movie. It was almost like sympathetic. It's just like, holy shit, this asshole character is strangely sympathetic in that shot. Like, because, Sean just lost his dad, and, on top of what's going on to all of them, or on top of what's happening to all of them. So this is cut to night now. McCulloch is asleep at the rudder. These guys are aching like no one's business. If Julius was road crew instead of being a boxer, they'd be in better shape. But they made it. Look at that. As we see the Statue of Liberty, it's like, and Julius gets very high pitched here. You can't hear it, in this audio, of course. But oh boy, we're in New York. Damn. Ho, ho, ho. If I could go anywhere, it's up to you. New York, New York. Anyway, I'm doing my Julius. Okay, so basically 1 hour and 4 minutes in a movie, we actually land at Manhattan, which is actually somewhere in Canada. Just one small scene was actually filmed in Times Square. And in pure asshole fashion, McCulloch is criticizing where they docked the boat. It's just been revealed that Jason was on their tail all along. Now, as dumb as this joke is, it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun at the same time. Jason walks up the ladder, starts walking, and stops and looks up and sees. You got to tilt his head like Michael Myers here. And he sees a big, huge billboard for Meet the Competition, Eastern Hockey League. Yeah, that's kind of dumb and kind of cool at the same time. We've got New York robber vision here. Of course, we don't know it yet. It's robber vision. Can you imagine surviving all that on that ship, rowing into the city and being robbed like within minutes of getting there? It's just like, God, this is the place we were traveling to, as a graduation vacation. Oh, that's one thing I didn't mention. The graduating senior class was on their way to New York for a graduating celebratory trip, and now that they've arrived, we're sure glad we're here. As they're accosted by a couple of street punks, as the guy rips the necklace from Rennie's throat that Sean gave her. And, you got a problem, Dad? I said that late. Dog goes grrr, and then he's gonna shoot at it. Bam, kloosh. He hits the box. He grabs Rennie by the hair. Yeah, the guy's gonna kidnap Rennie, and he's gonna party with her. Follow us, we'll blow our fucking head off. Comprende? Well, what are we waiting for? Let's go. Wait, Julius, no. They'll kill her. Or whatever the hell his line is. And Julius in his... Is that like a generic Adidas track jacket, or is it a real Adidas track jacket? Or is that... I can't... I don't know. It's got the 3 stripes. I was trying to look at the left breast on the track jacket there. Oh, Sean is like, I paid $20 for this necklace. I'll pick it up, and if I find Rennie alive, I'll give it back to her. This is I'd say hands down my least favorite scene, not being a heroin enthusiast or whatever drug they're using here. I'm not a needle enthusiast, you know. Well, I'm not any kind of drug enthusiast, but yeah, this is definitely probably my favorite or least favorite scene in the movie. It's just like, don't worry about it. You feel way better if you're stoned. Oh my god. So now we've got these street urchins forcing Rennie to take whatever this is. Once again, I'm not a drug enthusiast. Take the needle, we'll say. Ugh. Yeah, such a classy spits in his face. Smack. Waxer. Such a classy scene. Maybe this is my least favorite scene in the whole franchise up until this point. I mean, how grimy and disgusting can you get? Now, Jason comes across the needle, grabs it. This would probably be in the weapons if NECA did a action figure. I think they provided a needle for the Halloween 2 action figure. They provided a needle in the back, a syringe for that action figure. Now, this shot of it coming out the front is the worst, freaking gore attempt at gore ever. Oh my god. The quote unquote makeup effect, or like gore effects for this movie are so horrible. It's like kindergarten crap. Who the fuck are you? I said that late. I'll do these gunshots so you can sync up if you're watching this. Look at how slimy he is. Click. What the? Okay, I'll do the clunk on the pipe here for you if you're watching it. Oh my god. Now, it's funny, even when I saw this in the theater, when I saw this and Jason sees Rennie escape, it looks like he does a little nod right there. I don't like he was glad that she escaped. You can kind of see Kane's eyes almost. I think they have him wearing some kind of darkening, almost like sunglass, actually something to actually keep the eyes from being seen in this, but you could actually see his eyes a little bit through that in that shot. So Julius goes into this phone booth. This was actually a stunt that went wrong. The glass here doesn't break away until right now after he punches, but Kane still just, that was a breakaway glass thing that didn't work out, but they just kept it. Because he punches the glass and then it they do the little charge on it to make it shatter like a second later. Oh, okay. Now I forgot all about this. This is probably, maybe if there was one scene that was, if you were just gonna pick one scene to show someone, this is probably it, the boxing thing. And from start to finish right now, it's pretty funny. It's pretty well conceived and executed. So I think that this whole thing is pretty fun, and I wouldn't do it any other way. Like, I have no complaints with this scene. If the whole movie could have been like this, it'd be a better movie. But this scene is fun. Yes, it's a little long with the punches, but that's the whole point. Obviously, Julius's boxing expertise come into play here. I always thought it was stupid that he's punching the hockey mask, but whatever. He works on his slimy, mushy stomach late in a couple moments here. After he gets sick of punching, there you go. Do. Don't punch your mushy stomach. Do. Look at Kane Hodder's slouched over demeanor is funny. Do. The guy who plays Julius is funny here. He does well here. He's getting his white pants all dirty though. Do. I would assume that NECA would do a part 8 Jason after 7. It only makes sense. So they've done, individual box ultimate Jasons of, as we know, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we're waiting for 7 to come out. It's funny that they haven't done like a boxed ultimate Pamela Voorhees. That's the only thing we're missing, along with, of course, ultimate part 8. Take your best shot. Okay, so Jason's gonna, bam, off goes the head, head-o-vision, and then into the gas, or the trash can, clunk. Cha. So now, Rennie escaped, but her troubles don't end there because now she's stoned. She's high. Rennie's flying high. She's stoned. And she's looking around now. Even though it's in the same shot, it kind of strangely turns into Rennie vision, which makes no sense because this camera was just on her, but it kind of turns into Rennie vision. And then Sean finds her, which would never happen in real life. But this, once again, is not a movie about realism. They are together again. He found her. She's stoned. I hope he doesn't think less of her because of it. Well, he might not. He probably doesn't even know it. So Miss Boring Woman can't wait till it's Sunday. Oh, she almost gets shot by this cop pretending to be a New York cop. I think he does even a New York accent or something. Okay, everyone that is still alive has now been reunited. And it looks like, the thing about McCulloch is, I guess one could say he quote unquote means well, but it just doesn't really work out that way at the end of the day. It's a sincere, like he's like overprotective, it's not like it's a sincere desire to be protective, but how it comes across is just overbearing and assholishness, assholey. And it's funny how you can actually see Julius's head there. So they didn't do a cheat. It's actually there, but they have it cover it up there with the back corner of the car. Open the door, light comes on, we see Julius's head. That's kind of funny. Clunk, falls over. Oh, God. Jason grabs the guy. And this is the scene that I don't know if it's Ken Curtin. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Kurtzenzer. We'll just say Ken. I think it's Ken here. I think for some reason Ken is Jason here, and he does this stunt. I don't know why, but the guy who would go on to play Jason in Freddy versus Jason, I think is Jason right here, does this stunt. There's like 3 times, and this time included, if I'm correct about the Julius throwing him over the boat. It's like 2 or 3 times that Ken, two or 3 separate scenes he portrays Jason for whatever reason in this movie. Luckily, we're done with Boring Lady now. She's never going to go to church again. as they Joosh, Miss Van Dusen, booshka. The cop car, just erupts in a ball of flame with Miss Boring Van Dusen in the back. Now, nearly here we're an hour and 16 minutes into the movie, and we're finally gonna see Rennie's freaking look at that big hair. Holy shit. You'd almost need to do like Panavision just to contain all the hair. Hair was big in the 80s, wasn't it? Poor girls. They must have had to spend so much money on the freaking hairspray. I will admit what they do with this little puddle here. If you're not watching it back, this is when Rennie's looking at the burning puddle of I don't even know why the puddle's burning actually in reality, but there's a burning puddle and they do this cool dissolve with the little boat here in the burning puddle. And it dissolves into the lake. Now this must be an actual lake, obviously, for this high shot of the boat. But then once I think we dissolve onto the boat here, which is happening right here, they have it out of focus, which is good because I think that backdrop is the same phony baloney backdrop from the Jason drowning shots. It's basically just a two-dimensional photo just taped up on the wall. Same thing with there, reverse shot McCulloch. Look at how phony that looks. Oh my god. That's why this movie is oh my god. So this is the backstory of how we really see how McCulloch was an asshole. So his intention to teach a young girl how to swim is just to push her over the boat and make her swim. If she wants to live, she's going to learn how to swim. If she doesn't, she's dead. Here he's okay, so she knows about Jason because he's telling the story of Jason. He's ready to pull down anyone who falls in and can't swim. So that's how I guess Rennie knows about Jason. McCulloch told her about him. Let's find out. You better swim before Jason pulls you down. I said that late. I'm just seeing his lips move. I'm Hal. Swim! Oh, she was actually pulled under by Jason, even though in the timeline Jason was grown up by then. That's another thing. Oh, I'm not even going to get into it, but I mean the timeline is all screwed up, but life goes on. I will say that this look here, Jensen Daggett gives. Okay, she's going to turn around. Look at that. Look at the light on her face, and I remember. I think this is her memory had been repressed or something, and I think she just remembered just now after being through all the trauma of this movie. She just remembered what had happened for the first time since it happened, potentially. I was trying to teach you. I was drowning. I pulled you out. I saved your life. You son of a bitch. He was down there. I said that late. Rennie pushes him down. Stay away from her. Yeah, I did that wrong. Rennie. Ah. His defeated physical expression there. I can't. It's funny. He's just in a pile of crap. Jason wakes up and he's. This is what everyone who's watching this movie, if they haven't walked out of the theater yet, this is what they're waiting for. Much like the character of Melissa in Seven, or even Melissa or Dr. Cruz in Seven. It's pretty much just this one character in Eight. I will admit this is kind of funny how he does this in one shot, where we see the actor disappear into the building all in one shot without a cut, pan up, and see the stuntman thrown out the window. I like how that played out without a cut. Obviously, they cut halfway into the stunt to him coming out the window, but this is one of the many times Jason just teleports. It's just Rob's just having fun with it, I guess. At the eighth movie, he's like, it's the eighth movie. By this time, all reality just goes out the window, and now he's gonna put McCulloch in a tub of New York sludge with the rat right there. Oh, mother. No, geez. Yeah. I'm laughing at the shot of close up on Jason with the legs uh on either side. It's just this movie's so ridiculous. Okay, now so McCulloch is finally dead. No, we don't have to deal with that character anymore. It's just Rennie and Sean here. And before we get into the grand finale of the movie, we're gonna have a. This is probably my second least favorite scene in the movie. Just this love scene here. Clunk. It doesn't last very long. This is where Rennie reveals that when she was at school, when she was found out that her parents died in a car accident, it seems like everyone she cares about, she loses. And Sean says it's not going to happen this time. I'm basically just doing the audio description now for visually impaired, but I guess this scene doesn't last that long, but little smoochies goings on here. Well, luckily, Jason puts an end to this fairly quickly. Smash! He comes running through the trash. All right. Now we got all kinds of stunts. This shot, this bit is kind of cool where they open the door, go through it, and he just walks right through it. Once again, this is a situation where you've got a charge that's activated to shatter the glass just a moment, split second before he goes through it. You know, if one were to do a slow motion of that, you'd see the glass break the split second before he starts to go through it. That's how the phone booth thing was supposed to work. But that is really epic, that him going right through it. It kind of would have been cooler if he didn't kick and just walk through it, but it's still cool. So one thing I will hand to, as we see Jason on the subway, one thing I will give it to Rob is, you know, let's face it, I mean, even though I much prefer Jason in the Woods, you know, eighth film, I guess we can try Jason somewhere else at this point. I don't hate on him for that. He can it's worth a shot at this point. What the hell? It is kind of cool to see Jason on the subway. We've got the New Yorkians not helping, which apparently is true. People just mind their own business as he pulls the emergency brake, and Kane slides and gets back up, and they vanish. Now here is I think the last time Ken Kurtenzer, I don't know how to say his last name, and you can clearly see as he comes out of the car, it's just completely, look at how he's just walking, like just so nonchalantly, not even like Jason. He's just, it was almost like it was a, you know, just a dry run to get the framing, and like he wasn't even acting like Jason at all. It was just horrible. So I don't understand like why, you know, there's little bits and pieces where Ken is doing the frickin' Jason. I don't get it. I always thought that looked uncomfortable when she kneels down onto the gravel. So Jason was kicked or tripped and landed between this thing and that thing, getting electrocuted. Oh, he must be dead. Okay, so now we're going to actually enter into the only bit that was actually filmed in Manhattan, as we got like a flasher there, I guess. And the only bit actually in Manhattan. And it's funny because I think they filmed this in May or June, which is unbelievable to me because the movie came out on July 28th. But you can see the bat symbol. Obviously, Batman was a huge movie of the summer '89, and this shot was probably, I think, was was shot in May or something. I can't imagine it was shot in June. That seems a little late, but it may have been shot in May. They were still filming this movie, I think, in May, possibly April, but maybe May of 1989, and then it came out 2 months later. It's just crazy how the bat symbol is in this movie, and it came out the summer that the Batman was in the theater. It was just crazy. I mean, I saw the bat symbol when we saw it in the theater. I was just like, how is that? This shot of the camera tracking around Kane in Times Square is epic. The breathing he does is just so great. Like as Jason, just the moving the chest and shoulders like that. It's so cool as Jason is revealed. Living in the city ain't no big deal. You gotta have a heart made of new. If the crack don't get you, then the hookers will. Living in the city ain't no. God, these kids look so young now. You're a dead meat slime bag. Ching. Mask goes up. Yo, man, it's cool. It's cool, man. It's cool. They run away. Mask goes down. Turn around. I'll admit that bit of humor is funny. I mean, 8 movies in, why not? We'll go for it. I guess this is the writer-director's sister. So, for any of you who don't know, it's payphones and back, but it's broke. There's a maniac trying to kill us. Welcome to New York. Smash! Jason comes right through. The cool thing about having a stuntman as Jason is he can do all this stuff. Unless, of course... Now, here's Ken. I bet Kane really wished he could do this to him over and over for eternity after Freddy vs. Jason. So that guy who went against the mirror was the guy who played Jason in some of those shots I mentioned in the movie. He'd go on to play Jason in Freddy vs. Jason, which was a huge disappointment to fans, obviously to Robert Englund, and obviously most of all to Kane Hodder, because after so many years playing the character, they thought they were finally going to, Kane Hodder and Robert Englund are going to work together, and that just was completely stolen from Kane Hodder. It's one of the things that are going to forever haunt Friday the 13th fans. Not that, I mean, we'd like the movie I guess maybe the movie would be a little cooler if Kane Hodder was in Jason Goes to Hell, but I mean, that movie, even with Kane Hodder, would still suck. Okay, so we're entering into the final act of the film as they are basically cornered and decide to go in this convenient into the sewer that the manhole cover is conveniently off of. It's something how ideally you want the final act of your movie to be interesting, and this is, in my opinion, some of the least interesting stuff in the whole movie here. As they're okay. I bet you anything those legs of Jason that come down into the shot, come down off the ladder and start walking around the ladder. I bet those don't look like Kane's feet. Maybe those are Ken as well. Maybe more of it's Ken than I think. All I can think of is why Ken is doing some of the Jason stuff is if they were done filming and Kane, went back to California and they needed some extra stuff, so they just dressed up Ken, I guess. That would be the only reason why he would be Jason in some bits. Here we've got the maniacal sewer worker. This is Ralph Kramden. Or not Ralph Kramden, Ed Norton. Now here's a little known fact. All of you people are interested in New York. I bet you didn't know that the sewer floods up with toxic waste every night at midnight, which would account for that stuff hanging from the lights there and all those antibodies from, looks like the antibodies from what's it called? Fantastic Voyage. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna attack him, and Sean's unconscious. And here is just a clunk splat, just a grade school effect of. I mean, it's kind of cool, I guess. Shadow, see the clunk in the shadow and see the blood splat on the wall. I guess it's. I was gonna make fun of it, but I guess maybe it's kind of cool. You didn't get me in the lake. You're not gonna get me now. To sync you up if you're watching along with me. Oh, I would be curious. I don't know if I mentioned this in any of the other ones I did, but I would be curious to know if I think I asked this in the last one I did. If anyone listening to this after the fact could let me know in the comments if any of you actually do watch the movie along with this, and if that does in fact work, and does it work if anyone does that, and does it get out of sync, or does it stay in sync once you get it in sync? I'd like to know if anyone does watch any of these back with the movie, if any of you would be kind enough to share, as Rennie is now clunking on the toxic waste container with the flashlight, and splash right into Jason's face, rips the mask off to reveal the worst of all time Jason face ever created for one of these movies. All time worst. Beneath, you think the reveal was bad in 7, and some people make fun of the beneath the mask Jason's face in 7. I like it, but this is just horrendous Jason face. It's just stupid Jason face. Uh-oh, the lights are moving. That means when the lights start wiggling, the toxic waste is going to flow. There's an antibody hanging from the light. Once more, we've got some of that red, stylistic red light. Oh, Jason with his worst Jason makeup face ever he's just he's delirious because of being splashed with toxic waste. Okay, now I'm not gonna watch this because this is nasty. It's not that big a deal, but anyway, if any of any of you don't know him, you probably all do know. But right here, Kane Hodder apparently is actually. I'm gonna cover this up. I'll cover up so I don't see it, but he regurgitates. He swallowed a bunch of water here, and he's actually regurgitating this. So he's basically puking up water there for real, and you can just forget about that. And it's so stupid because Jason goes, full-grown Jason there goes, "Mommy," and something like that, and just because Kane Hodder can puke up, swallow and puke up water at will, we'll just put that in the movie. Oh my God. How nasty is that? Yeah, I'm not one for, real puking up. Okay, so Kane Hodder is done. Now we're just going to have a fake dummy of Jason pop out of the water almost as if the movie is 3D. Then a horrible dissolve between drowning young Jason. We'll just add some fire into the mix. Oh my God. That's like straight to video shit going on there. And then why not get a lightning strike on the Statue of Liberty? No. As the toxic waste, which looks a little too clear to be toxic waste, subsides and goes away, we're going to reveal. I guess this kind of bookend, if this were going to be the last film, it kind of bookends the whole franchise in this pathetic, stupid way where the toxic waste washed away the evil of Jason and returned him to innocent, boy form. I guess that was probably Rob's intention there, as we have the toxic waste burned mask, which looks kind of cool there, which is flushed away with the little flush of water there. So that was probably Rob's intention with that bit, is the toxic waste, burned away the evil of Jason, leaving the innocence of Jason remaining. Not that I'd want the boy Jason to be laying there naked. It's kind of funny how he's in shorts. Once again, Rob's real life son, apparently. Rennie gets the necklace back, the gold Statue of Liberty necklace, and we have a scary point of view of Chucky. Chucky's back. Steadicam low angle point of view. And we find out that it's the dog. Yay. It's the dog. We knew that, though, because I don't imagine anyone's listening to this who hasn't seen the movie. It's the dog. Once again, this shot here to close out the movie is also, I'm pretty sure, is also actually in Times Square. And I don't remember if this is night. It's probably actually night. What's supposed to be dawn in the movie. It's probably night, I would imagine. I don't know. So that's it. Cast of characters in order of appearance. That's really cool that, when you have such a entourage of characters, you kind of, there's two different ways to do it. You do alphabetical order or order of appearance. It makes you wonder, who makes the decision which it's going to be? Is it going to be alphabetical order or order of appearance? So that pretty much does it for my commentaries on the Friday 13th films. I'm afraid I'm sure as hell not going to go any further than this. And if someone wants me to, they can donate some money to Huge Movie Fanatics if they want me to go any further than part 8, because as I said, I initially wasn't going to do 8, but I figured, we'll do 8. It was kind of fun to bitch about it and point out the few things that I actually did like about it. So yeah, I guess we might as well just blab until the credits are over as the image of New York fades and there's nothing but credits on black here, stunt players. It's funny how Kane Hodder is probably not there, but I guess when you're Jason, you can't also have a stunt credit at the same time. Yep. I don't imagine. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, after I saw this in the theater as a 12-year-old, I regarded this as the best one, but that's only because 12-year-old me was like, well, the most recent, how I decide as a 12-year-old what the best movie is what's the most recent. So it's definitely not the best one, I'll tell you that. But I did see, as I was glancing, I glanced every now and then just as out of curiosity to see if people do listen to these live. And I did glance at it at one point and see a total of 3 people, which may have been actually 2 people. And someone was kind enough to leave a thumbs up. So I do appreciate, someone showing up and listening, even though chat is disabled. But I mainly do these so people can listen after the fact. It's easier to do as a stream than record it and upload it. So yeah, I think my plan is basically to do the first 3 sleepaway camps, and for as far as commentaries, and I guess I do have a request to do Terror Train, which maybe, I mean, I guess ideally I'd want to wait until winter, but I don't have to. We'll just see what happens after I do the first 3 sleepaway camps, which I'll probably try to get started this month in August here. These are kind of fun to do, these watching recordings, actually. Once again, recorded in Ultra Stereo, based on characters created by Victor Miller. Original Jason sound effect created by Harry Manfredini. So it was filmed in Vancouver, British Columbia. The majority of it. All right. I guess that pretty much does it for me watching Friday the 13th, Part 8. Jason Takes Manhattan. New York has a new problem. Rated R. Starts Friday, July 28th, at theaters everywhere.